Hi guys, this is Mark Millar from Access Noize, and I'm very pleased to introduce my guest today, rock legend Ricky Warwick. What about you, Ricky?
How you doing, Mark? How's it going?
Not too bad. Where are you today?
I'm at home. I'm sitting out on my balcony in Los Angeles in the house, and yeah, obviously can't really go too far. So I've pretty much been here for the last year, just like all of us, stuck at home.
Yeah. So why would you leave sunny Belfast for sunny LA?
Well, I left sunny Belfast a long, long time ago. I left sunny Belfast way back in 1980 at the ripe old age of 14 and moved to Scotland. And I've kind of moved about quite a bit ever since. I mean, I lived in Scotland for 4 or 5 years. Lived down in London, moved back to Ireland, lived in Dublin for about 8 or 9 years. And I've been in LA now 16 years.
Nice one. And you've just released your latest solo album, When Life Was Hard and Fast. It's your first solo record in 5 years, and it's been very well received. When did you start writing this one?
Well, I'm always writing all the time. I don't really sort of start a process for an album because I'm always writing songs. So it's a question of for me going in and going through the material that I've written and the catalogue that I've built up and seeing what I feel is going to work for the whatever, if it's Black Star Riders or if it's a Ricky Warwick solo album. But I mean, really started putting this album together, the demos and everything, Mark, in 2018.
Mm-hmm. So you didn't go in with any
3 years ago
preconceived ideas or what kind of sound you wanted. It was just, you were just constantly writing songs and you just had a lot to put together.
I'm always constantly writing songs, but when I had the opportunity and the time allowed it with Black Star Riders sort of not being busy to get in and make the next solo record, then I started saying, okay, then I decided I'm going to work with Keith Nelson. We decided we wanted to make just a straight ahead in your face rock and roll album. No frills, big anthemic songs, big loud guitars. I think that's when that sort of formula taking place. When we started doing the demos, really, I think we could see a vibe and a way forward.
Mm-hmm. And you wrote the title track When Life Was Hard and Fast with your friend Sam Robinson. What was the process behind that? Did he just send you the lyrics and you just put it to the music?
It's usually the way it works with me and Sam. We've never written a song together in the same room ever. Even when when we get together in Northern Ireland, we just tend to socialise or go and watch the Glens. It's not like we never really get together and work. So usually what happens is Sam and I will be talking on the phone, we'll have a conversation, and maybe that will spark an idea or something in Sam's mind. And usually a few days later, some words will arrive. And then there's a wee bit of backwards and forwards. Obviously, I start writing the music for them, and then sometimes I need to edit. We need to edit some of the lyrics just to make them fit, or sometimes it just works straight away. But it's a really easy process. He just sends me an idea, and usually it kickstarts something melodically or musically with me straight away, and a bit of backwards and forwards, and then that's it, really.
Well, that song in particular is about growing up and chasing your dreams, and how life was easier growing up. What's your favorite memories of growing up in Belfast?
I think I just the people and the place, and just that sense of abandonment before you stared at your phone for 24 hours a day. There was a whole sort of sense of you just made plans and plans fell apart. It didn't matter. You weren't texting somebody like, that's me. I'm on my way over to your house. That's me outside the door. I'm coming in the door now. I can see you there. Somebody didn't turn up. They didn't turn up. Something else happened. And I think that's just abandonment that you had when you were a youth. I've got really great memories of growing up in Northern Ireland, and I think that was it. It's just a real special place for me.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned you and Sam bonded over your love of the Glentoran. I think you told me before that you met in the Elk Inn. You would have went there for it. Do you know that's getting pulled down?
I've heard. Very sad. Very sad. Yeah. I'm very surprised it's actually not a listed building. I was quite surprised it wasn't because it's such an old building. But that's such an iconic landmark. There's so many old photographs, certainly from the Arts TT races, which obviously I've used on the cover and in the video for When Life Was Hard and Fast. The Elks there. It's right at that corner, with the road going off the Cumber and obviously the other road going through Dundonald. It's a shame, I know progress is progress, but I just think buildings like that they've got a history, should be listed and cherished and preserved, in my opinion, anyway,
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And you mentioned the County Down Arch TT race, which I grew up in Dundonald. So I'd always heard about it, you know,
Aye.
coming up, as you said, past the Elk. But
Yeah.
it was brilliant to see the accompanying video for the song having footage.
Thank you.
And it was really, really amazing, you know, and I shared it on the Donald Facebook groups and stuff like that there,
Oh,
you know.
good for you. Thanks a million, man.
So where did you get that footage from?
I mean, I struck gold. A few, you know, asked a few good mates back home, and it led me down led me down a path to the Spence brothers. Now the Spence brothers own the Tudor Cinema Club in Cumber, the lovely wee cinema that they have there. So I was able to get a phone number and got in touch with one of them. Called one of the brothers up, and he couldn't have been nicer, you know. And it turns out you know, family connections, Warwick. I think he'd gone to school with my dad, you know, way back in the day. And so we just blittered on the phone for must have been 45 minutes. And he had a huge collection. I think they've probably got the biggest collection of Arts TT footage out there.
Yeah.
And I just said, look, what do you want for it? I explained my idea. And he said, it's yours. He says, do what you want with it. And, you know, about a week later, there was a hard drive of it in my mailbox. And it was just almost 3 hours of all this amazing footage that we just started going through to put together the video with for, you know. So it was really thanks to them that they let me have the stuff to use in the video. Incredible stuff.
And as you said, the album cover features a crouch from the TT races, which was outside your grandfather's house. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's right. When you'll notice Quarry Corner, you know, just as you're coming up the old Belfast road through the glens there, Quarry Corner is right there, you know. And yeah, that was the corner of the notorious, obviously, spot on the circuit. And my great grandfather, my grandfather used to rent out the field for spectators to watch the race on.
And the album cover is amazing. Looking, it's really class. Who designed it?
Thank you. A girl called Karen Kronecker. Karen has got a great company called Hazmat Design. She is the same person that designed the cover of Another State of Grace.
Right.
And Karen's been a great friend of mine for many years, and she's just a fantastic designer, really cool, and always love working with her on stuff because she just gets it, you know. She's just brilliant.
Well, let's talk about some of the songs. I mean, on the album you were joined with special guest Joe Elliott, who featured on the track and backing vocals, Andy Taylor of Duran Duran, Thunder's Luke Morley, Dizzy Reed of Guns N' Roses, but more importantly, your daughter Pepper on the track. Time Doesn't Seem to Matter. It's a beautiful song. It just sounds amazing. So how did it come about that she was singing on your song?
Well, the song's about her. I wrote it for her, and you know, it was so I wrote it for her, and then she's getting into music big time. She's playing guitar and keyboards and violin, and she's a great singer, you know. She's really sort of immersing herself in music. And I just thought, well, you know, it's about her. So I said, hey kiddo, this one's about you. What about you coming in the studio and singing on it? And she's like, okay, no problem. So we got her in, and she nailed it in one take, and sort of spent the day hanging out in the studio with me and Keith. And it was just a real proud dad moment. Just lovely to have her on there. Really was. No,
it's a really good song. I take it you'll be getting all the royalties from it, will you?
Yeah, right. Really, she's on a song for 20 seconds, and I've had 30 years, and I'm still looking for my royalties. You know, she's gonna learn the hard way, Mark.
My favorite song on the album is "I'd Rather Be a Hit," about being let down by politicians. When you were writing the song, was there a particular moment politically that influenced the song?
I mean, it was certainly when, you know, the song was written probably back 2017, 2018. So obviously Trump was still in power over here. You know, Theresa May and all that going on in the UK. I mean, yeah, I was just, you know, it's, you know, they let us down every time. I don't really care what side of the political spectrum you're on. We just never seem to keep the promises. And it was also a little nod to it, you know, the fact that, you know, we as in men have been running the world for the last few thousand years, and we're really making a bad job of it. And it might be time just maybe let the women have a go at looking after things. You know what I mean? So it was a little bit of a nod to that as well. But yeah, just complete. You know, the working class is getting screwed over every time. You know, it's an old subject, sadly, but it's one that seems to keep happening.
Well, funny you say that, and I'm sure you know, obviously, we have two women running Northern Ireland, and it's not going too well at the moment.
There's an exception to every rule. You know what I mean? Case in point, obviously it was written before that was a thing. But I think it's just the whole that it's the empty promises that people keep getting given. And I think that certainly in certain cases, these people, we vote them in, they're working for us.
Yeah.
They're there because of the grace of the population voting for them. And I think a lot of them don't get that or take it for granted or certainly abuse that, and it's just there's just so many things, as we all know, that are wrong at such a fundamental level that you just kind of go, hang on a minute, we're spending this much money on that, but there's still people living on the streets, or certainly over here can't get healthcare, or can't get the education they need because they can't afford it. I mean, those things should be healthcare and education should be a right. Doesn't matter where you live. You pay your taxes. That should be, a given, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And the track also features a brilliant solo from Andy Taylor.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot, as I mentioned, there is a lot of people guesting on the album. Is it easy enough to get anybody to feature on the tracks these days?
Yeah, no, just people that I know. I mean, there's quite a few people that I like to reach out to, but they would have probably told me to F off because they don't know me. I mean, these are mates. I mean, I'm really blessed that these are friends of mine, first and foremost, that friendships have been forged in 30 years of doing this. Like Joe Elliott, obviously, and I go way back. Joe produced my first two solo records. I've signed on Def Leppard album, so it's all kind of a little bit incestuous. We're working with each other. I've worked with Andy Taylor on some of his solo stuff that's coming out there this year. Luke Morley from Thunder and I go way back. So they're friends, but they're also extremely talented friends, and they're also making music that I'm a huge fan of and have been over the years. So the great thing about doing a solo record is that you can be as narcissistic and selfish as you want, because you're not going to piss off anybody in your band, because there is no band to piss off. Mm-hmm. So if you want somebody to come in and play a guitar solo, you're not going to upset the guitar player, So that's why I kind of enjoy doing it. So it was just, and the songs aren't written with them in mind. Usually when the song's finished, I'm kind of going, it'd be really great if I get Luke Morley to rip a solo on that. Wouldn't that be amazing? Mm-hmm. We phone call, hey mate, fancy playing on my album? Sure, send it over. And it's as laid back as that,
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Who would be your dream collaboration that's live?
Oh man, I mean, I think I'd love to work with Springsteen if ever that opportunity arose. I think that would be amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's still doing quality work, isn't he?
The man is a machine. He's unbelievable, and with a passion and a soul like no other. I find it very inspirational, his work ethic. It's a big inspiration to me that he's so. It's all about the music with Bruce, and you can see that. I mean, the guy doesn't need to work another day in his life. He doesn't, but his output is phenomenal, and I love that. I just think that's great,
What's great is there's a bonus CD with the album Stairwell Troubadour with some absolute amazing covers, right? There's the Dead or Alive cover, You Spin Me Around Like a Record, and the Britney Spears one, Oops. The most unlikely covers I would ever expect you to do, but they're absolutely class. And you just put a whole different spin on them. So why did you choose to do those two in particular?
Just it was a bit of fun, I think, it's the unexpected. Who'd have expected, me to sort of do a Britney Spears or a Dead or Alive song? But again, there's songs that I like. I mean, I'm sorry, I like pop music. I like good, well-written, cheesy pop music that's it's not even cheesy. I mean, you strip those songs down, they're well-written, crafted songs. At the end of the day, it's all about entertainment, and it's all about, some of the greatest Motown songs, 2.5, 3 minutes long. There's so much soul and feeling and character in those amazing songs, and I'm always been a fan of that. And I just thought, it's a bit of fun, and then it was tongue in cheek, bit of fun, those two covers, because people are going to expect the Iron Maiden cover or the Johnny Cash cover because they know that's an influence for me. But sort of throwing in a wee curveball every now and again doesn't do any harm.
No, I was really surprised to hear them, and I love them. They're class.
Thanks.
Going back a wee bit, you saved your money from a paper round to buy your first electric guitar. What were you listening to then that sort of inspired you to want to get a guitar and learn it?
That was Stiff Little Fingers was the reason behind it. Seeing them play the Ulster Hall in 1980 and walking out, going in as a spotty 14-year-old kid, 13-year-old kid, whoever it was, and walking out still a spotty 13-year-old kid, but with a mission and a goal in life. That's how definitive that was. And then obviously it was Thin Lizzy. It was Stiff Little Fingers and Thin Lizzy. That was the blueprint back then for, to get a guitar and get armed and get out there and start playing. And I was really, really driven by those two bands.
Mm-hmm. Can you remember the first song you wrote and you thought, right, this is a really good song?
Yeah, I can actually. It's funny. I was hanging out with Robbie Crane the other day, and I was messing about on the guitar, and I started playing the riff from I still had the demo of it. We did a demo of the very first song I wrote, and the song was called "Give Me Back My Mind," which is an awful title. But I was playing the riff, and Robbie goes, "What's that?" He goes, "That's cool." I said, "That's a riff from the first song I ever wrote in the guitar." He goes, "We need to keep that." He says, "We need to work on that riff." So I think you never know; it might end up in a Black Star Riders album somewhere down the road. I mean, I'll obviously change the title and come up with better lyrics, but the riff, the actual riff's pretty cool. So there you go.
Look forward to hearing that. I know there was a period in your life where you sort of weren't doing music and you sort of gave up on it.
Sure.
What provoked that there, and then what made you start up again and start writing songs? Drugs, was it?
I pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, everybody goes through, life's full of ups and downs, and that was certainly a down period for me. And it was due to choices that I made and decisions that I made and people that I chose to be in their company, which weren't necessarily good people or good for me. And I made those decisions, so it was on me. I just went down a dark road for about a year and a half, 2 years almost, and just lost my way. Simple as that. A lot of things had conspired against me. Instead of what I usually do, sort of rising up to meet them, I went the other way. I let it get to me, and I let it, spiral into sort of a depression. And I just took it out on music. I blame music. I said, I'm done with music. Music's the reason I'm in this, which it wasn't. It took me a wee while to sort of come out of it. And, thankfully, a lot of people I've got to thank for sort of grabbing me by the scruff of the neck and giving me a shake and get me back on the path, But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. You learn from it and you get through it and you move on. Make sure you never do it again. I mean, it was a great learning experience for me. I certainly learned a lot from it because I really, was pretty much at rock bottom at one point, and it was a very sobering and humbling experience for me.
Yeah, well, it's good that you got through it.
Thanks.
You're always on tour, and how you find
not anymore.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. I mean, obviously because of the pandemic, how you find it not being out on the road and spending all this time at home? Obviously, it has plus points. You're at home a lot.
Sure.
But I'm sure you just want to get these songs and play to the crowd.
Going back to just what I just said, one of the things I learned about that whole experience was that negativity begets negativity, and we all have bad days, and the pandemic's been horrific. I'm blessed because there's a roof over my head and there's food in the fridge, and I can still continue to play online shows and write and record. And yes, of course, my income has been hugely affected by not being able to go on the road, but I've got to spend, like you said, a year with my family. I've not missed any birthdays. I've not missed any holidays. I've not missed any of the things that I'm usually away for, which is tough, I mean, I love what I do, and it's part of it, but to miss your kids' birthdays or your anniversaries, it's never easy, regardless of any situation. That's been lovely, and that's been a positive. I've written, probably 100 songs. I've been reading. I've been running a lot. I've been exercising. I'm been looking. It's been good. It's been really productive because positivity is just it's the way forward. Yeah. Yes, it's been horrendous not being able to go on the road because I love it and I really, really miss it. But we're going, we're looks like we're almost through this now, and it will come back. And I thought hopefully a year from now, I'll be on a 6-week tour going, oh man, remember when we had that time at home? That was cool. Mm-hmm. That's what I think is hopefully we'll never get this time again where we can be with our loved ones. We'll get some time to reflect and think about ourselves and think about the people we're with. And it's a unique time, horrendous as it may be, but I think there's also a lot of good that may have come out of this as well, with people just being introspective and people not taking life for granted, not taking our freedom for granted. Moving forward, I certainly hope so.
Could you imagine what it's going to be like? Your first gig back in front of a crowd. It's going to be amazing, isn't it? Like,
oh, it's been brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. I mean, it'll be just fantastic to get back out there and plug in and play, and just play to people. I mean, it's been great singing into a computer every month and seeing the people's text you on the stage at shows I'm doing. Mm-hmm. But I'm still can't see the people. I'm still singing into a computer. Mm-hmm. It's still a little bit bizarre, and it'll never be the same as getting out there and playing live.
Absolutely. And you've played obviously thousands of gigs over the years in your whole career. Is there one particular performance you could say that was absolutely amazing? That's the best performance I've ever had. Best show?
There's been many, Mark. It's hard to pick one. I mean, I've done so many gigs. Mm-hmm. There's been so many highlights. It's really, really hard just to say that was the definitive gig. I mean, there's certain moments in probably every gig where, it just be the crowd singing a song back to you. And that one moment, you just go, it doesn't get any better than this. Yeah. Playing live and seeing people's reaction and interacting with the people is the best feeling in the world. And I think that's why I'm still as hungry as I ever was to do it.
Mm-hmm. Is there going to be any plans down the line for a new Black Star Raiders record?
Absolutely, yeah. It's written. It's demoed. We're just waiting to get in the studio to record it, which looks like it's going to be this summer here in Los Angeles. We'll work with Jay Rustin again. And that'll be album number 5. We have a title, which obviously I can't reveal yet. We have everything written. So we're just waiting to go. We're just waiting in the studio. Hopefully we'll get in the summer, and then that should come out, obviously, 2022.
Nice one. We mentioned the Glens. Obviously, you're a huge Glens fan. And I think I just checked there the other day when I was doing these questions. They're 6th in the league now. How do you feel about that? I think they're just below Cliftonville.
They're playing Linfield tomorrow night as well. Listen, the revolution at the club's been nothing short of amazing. The club was on the brink, as everybody sort of back home knows, quite a few years ago, and nearly went under. So to have some stabilization in the infrastructure of the great football club is just brilliant. The results haven't maybe been what we were all hoping, but new regime, new manager, a lot of players coming in. It takes time. Give it time. We're starting to play well now, and obviously it must be strange for the players playing without the fans there. Hopefully they'll start coming back in a month or two. I'm optimistic for the future, but the financial stability of the club going forward is huge. It's huge, and it's really welcome to see that.
Mm-hmm. What was your favourite Glades match you went to see? I'm sure like your live gig, it's probably hard to pick one. I suppose Linfield and the Blues.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be one of the Boxing Day ones. I think the most important one for me was about 3 years ago when we beat Linfield 2-1 on Boxing Day, and we were over for Christmas, and Pepper was with me, and Pepper was the Glentoran mascot for the day. Wow. So that was a fantastic moment,
Cool.
Yeah.
Just a couple more, Ricky.
Of course.
I like to ask all my guests these following questions. Out of all the music in your collection, which artist or band do you have the most albums by?
Thin Lizzy. Yep.
Have you seen the new movie at the documentary?
I have, yep. I have indeed. Thought it was great.
I haven't seen it yet. I don't know when it's good. Released. I'm looking forward to it.
It's really good.
What have you been listening to recently that you could recommend to the people watching?
Viagra Boys. Check out the Viagra Boys.
Good band.
I'm a big fan of Sleaford Mods as well. I think they're brilliant.
Yep.
Really, really good. Those Damn Crows, I think, are a great UK band at the minute, really happening. That's been about it, really. Mm-hmm. I don't tend to listen to that much heavy rock. There I said it. I listen to a lot of diverse stuff, and it's wide ranging. Like I said, Sleaford Mods. I listen to a lot of old soul music, a lot of Motown. I'm really into vinyl, so I collect a lot of vinyl. So I'm always sort of going back and buying. I lost a lot of my record collection over the years just through moving and falling out with girlfriends and stuff like that, as you do. So I'm sort of building it back up again, So I've been, there's a lot of great reissues coming out now in vinyl, so I've been sort of stocking up on those.
Do you have a song or an album that's a guilty pleasure?
I'm a massive Casey and the Sunshine Band fan, and have
Right.
been for many, many years, and been to see them play a few times. So probably that would be my guilty pleasure, is Casey and the Sunshine Band.
No, they're not bad. In the immediate future, what's next for Ricky?
Let's get through this pandemic. Obviously, promoting the album. Hopefully, some live dates towards the end of the year now. Now that everything's looking in a wee bit better shape. The Black Star Riders record. Just keep writing, keep moving forward. Keep pushing.
Cool. Well, that's my questions done, Ricky.
Cool, mate. Thank you.
Really, really enjoyed talking to you. Yeah.
Yeah, you too, mate. Yeah,
100%. And I really enjoyed the album. So
thank you.
Good luck with that.
Appreciate it, Mark.
Hopefully see you back in the limelight or something, before the end of the year.
We will. I think we're just about to announce. We've moved the dates that were happening in May. We're going to move them back to till early next year. So January, February next year, just to make sure, But absolutely. Can't wait to get back out there, mate. So brilliant. Well, thanks, mate. Thank you. Be safe.
Yes. You too, mate. Take it easy.